Enemy turret is no more.
Enemies re-engaging.
Enemy turret.
Stay out of my way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of LGR Play. As always, I'm your host Mark Hamer, and joining me today in the rotating guest chair is web developer extraordinaire, pinko lefty socialist and salty dog Doug Saltire.
Hello there. Wow,
Hey.
summed up so succinctly. Thank you.
No worries, welcome to the show.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, we've got you on this show today because I wanted to talk to you about a game that I think is close to both of our hearts, the Blizzard hero shooter Overwatch, because I understand you're a big Overwatch player.
It's embarrassing. It really is.
How many hours?
400 odd.
I
I know.
Okay.
It's shameful. It's utterly shameful.
It's not really.
Oh, it is. I've got so many games I haven't played. You know,
Yeah, well,
I hear those guys on that Year of Shame challenge and think, nah.
yeah,
Not for
no,
me.
I've got an embarrassingly big pile of shame as well, but I haven't clocked in quite as many hours, maybe 150, 200 hours in total.
You should still know what you're doing then. That's fine.
Yeah, you'd think I would, but I hear back from those who see me play that I don't.
Everyone's a critic.
So, Overwatch, was it something you picked up straight away, or was it something that you came into later on?
I came late on and I started on Xbox.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be a good social shooter. I keep doing this. I keep buying games and thinking, I'll get it on Xbox. There's people on Xbox, and then I never play with people. I did this with The Division as well. So yeah, I played it on the Xbox, but I couldn't get along with the controls. I'm a PC gamer at heart, and something about the thumbsticks just couldn't sit right. So
Yeah.
I've got to level 50 and hopped off onto PC and started again.
Yeah. I mean, that is where the best of the best play, but I don't have well, I do have a PC, but it's not anywhere good enough to play it.
Well, if there's an insight into my addiction, we had a holiday, I spent a week in Yorkshire. It was absolutely lovely, and Overwatch ran on my laptop.
Fair enough. I mean, I could probably. It's not particularly resource hungry. I could probably get it running on my MacBook, but yeah, I won't bother trying. To be
You
honest,
could heat the house with that.
yeah, exactly. But no, I play on PS4. I have considered many times double dipping and picking it up on the Xbox as well. But again, that same situation is I don't really play that often with other people, so what's the point in double dipping?
Yeah. I just had to go to something that I could use Farah. Basically, I could not fly with a controller.
No.
So mouse and keys, and suddenly I clicked and. To say I've not looked back, I do. I look back in shame.
So this was a day one purchase. This was a pre-order purchased twice because I enjoyed the beta so much. There were these two. I remember reading about this game years ago. There was this, and there was Battleborn floating about.
Right.
And I was like, these two games look really interesting. I like the art direction that the different art directions they're taking. I like the idea of what they're doing with the first-person shoot genre. When I was reading about them beforehand, I thought that Battleborn sounded like the more interesting of the two, because Overwatch, whenever it was described, sounded like I was like, okay, so it's Team Fortress 2, right?
Yes.
But with more colourful characters.
Yeah.
And it is, essentially. Whereas Battleborn tried to be more of a MOBA. And so the betas came out for both of those. I mean, the Battleborn one came out, and I remember me and a bunch of friends played it, and we're like, this is really good. And then the Overwatch beta came out, and that was it. It was over. Battleborn was forgotten about. Overwatch buried that game. So yeah, I ended up pre-ordering the collector's edition with the big statue of Soldier 76 and the art book and everything, and then getting the digital version of it as well. so that me and my other half could both play it at the same time.
And do you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Quite regularly. I quite regularly play with her and her sister, who is me and my other half, Zoe. We're okay. We're all right at it. Zoe's little sister is like a savant. She is Diamond League. She's insanely good. Whenever I play Overwatch with her, I'm just like, okay, just tell me what to do. Tell me who to be. Tell me where to stand, where to go. She was the one, like, because I until recently when I started watching like Overwatch League and things like that, I didn't really get too much into the meta of it, so I didn't understand comps. And things like that.
I'm with you. I'd see the game complaining, you don't have a tank. Oh, I'll be a tank. Oh, you don't have a healer. Oh, I'll be a healer. And then 100 hours later, I'm like, why am I always the mug who does this?
Yeah, well, no, that's something I noticed from the very beginning. Like, no one wants to play healer. Everyone wants to be Genji. But I quite liked playing. I've always enjoyed playing support roles in these sort of games. I play almost exclusively as the medic class in any Battlefield game. Just because I like playing that sort of supporting role. So tanks and healers is who I play as the most, to be honest. Yeah, I'd see people like in the chat saying like, let's go dive, and I had absolutely no idea what dive was or dive comp until I started playing with my partner's sister, and she explained the intricacies of dive comp to me, and now I've really gotten into quite deep into the meta of it, which is slightly different on console than it is on PC. Just to roll it back a bit, for people who somehow don't know what Overwatch is, it is a objective-based team hero shooter where you either have one team pushing an objective and like a moving payload in the team trying to stop them, or one team trying to capture some points in the team trying to stop them, or the two teams trying to capture the same point and hold it for a determined amount of time. And there's, how many characters are there now?
27, I think.
27 characters that fall into attack, defense, tank, or healer roles, or support. I'm a Rhine main. I've always been a Rhine main. Love Reinhardt. He's my boy. I also love Lucio as well. I think Lucio was the character I clocked at the most. For a while, I was obsessed with playing as Torbjorn. Me and some friends, all 6 of us picked Torbjorn defending, and we just set up 6 turrets around the payload and just sat there and held it for the entire match, and they couldn't even capture the payload, let alone move it.
That's
and
obscene.
I felt so dirty afterwards, but it was great.
I do that when you get into a pirate ship comp with Orisa and Tor and Moira and Mercy, and then maybe a Rhine just at the front, and you just march through the map, and because I only play quick play, rarely does the other team have enough nous about them to go, do you know what, we should maybe group up and counter this, because if they did, it'd be very easy. You know? But yeah, like yourself, I didn't get too deep onto it until I started feeling frustrated that what I'm playing isn't how this feels like it should be. And then I'd watch Overwatch League and like, oh, okay, there is. That's fine.
And like, I think we should make clear that watching Overwatch League and reading about, you know, comps and metas and partnerships and where to be in different maps with different characters at different times can immensely enhance your enjoyment of the game. You don't have to know any of that stuff to play quick play, really. It's at that level, it can be incredibly casual.
The idea of, was it Far Mercy? I played a lot of Mercy at one point, and you just suddenly realise that Pharah's really good. I know what I'll do. I'm going to follow that person around. And in quick play again, because there's very rarely the wherewithal to counter, you end up winning just because 2 people on the other team ganged up.
Yeah, To anyone who doesn't know what pharmacy is, there's a character called Farah who is she's got a rocket launcher and jetpack, so she can spend most of the time up in the air. And Mercy, who is the most efficient of the healing type characters, can sort of like latch onto another character, and she can also kind of hover, sort of, but like fall very slowly. And so as long as Farah's in the air, Mercy can stay in the air and keep damage buffing and healing Farah, and then you cannot bring that Farah down unless you have a very coordinated team. Which in quick play is, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, you know.
Sometimes you get that one Genji who knows how to climb a wall and jump at your Farah or your Mercy. But it is very rare.
And sometimes you get that Genji who knows how to ask for healing and nothing else all the time.
Well, I mean, Farah is actually now my main. At one point it was Symmetra, which is appalling to embarrassing to mention in public. But Farah came out of a sulk. I just got fed up of Genji mains, whining about healing and running behind the back line and then complaining that they died. And I get frustrated, so I'd be Farah, and I really enjoy Farah, mostly because she has a rocket launcher, which reminds me of my Quake 3 days. And you just charge about with a rocket launcher in the air, which again in quick play not many people look up.
No,
especially a Widow, and I do love Widow hunting.
Yes, do you know that is something I found quite a lot with Overwatch, is that its frustration has pushed me into learning new characters.
Exactly.
I used to play a lot of Reinhardt, and I still do if the tactics require a Reinhardt. If you're making a push and you've got lots of characters that would suit sitting behind that shield, then Reinhardt, you can't go wrong with Rein. I love him.
No.
But I went through a patch of just getting absolutely demolished match after match by someone on the other team playing as Tracer, and it's really hard to deal with a Tracer if you're a Reinhardt because she's like a little mosquito. So I was like, okay, I want to continue playing tank role. What can I do? Tried playing Zarya. I still don't quite get.
I can't.
Well, I get Zarya. I just can't pull it off.
No, same. I flex a lot of heroes, and I cannot click with her. It's very frustrating.
Love Diva. Diva's really good fun, but I find her quite situational unless the rest of the team has got a comp that complements her. So in an effort to get away from Tracer and also get rid of the backline snipers who were pestering our team every single match, I switched to Winston. And now he's my go-to tank. I love Winston. He's quite squishy. Or if we're attacking, I go Winston. If it's defense, if you're defending a payload or defending a capture point, I love playing as Roadhog.
But I've learned a lot of heroes because they annoyed me.
Yes. If you can't beat them, join them.
Absolutely. May, I could never counter.
I still can't counter May. I'm quite good with May. I don't know how to counter her. Everybody else seems to be able to counter May when I'm playing as her. Same with Tracer. I get shut down so quickly if I try and play Tracer, but if I come up against one as another character, can't stop the pesky little mosquito.
But that's me with May. I just try to out May them. I've tried with Winston. You've got that funky winter event where you could play May versus Winston, and I use that as practice, but I'm still no good at taking her out. It's either Farah, fly in the air, or just out May them. Which was fun with Symmetra, but then I got very embarrassed at how much time I was putting into Symmetra, and she's quite an embarrassing hero to say you main. So
no, I mean she's a good character. I've gone through periods of having different new favourites. For a while, Orisa was my favourite, and she still is on certain maps and certain modes. I think Orisa is the best of the tanks. I spent a lot of time playing as Lucio and then stopped. I've come back a little bit now since he's had some changes, because he's become an absolute pest. So he's quite fun to play as. Zenyatta has always been a favourite of mine as well, because not only do you have that heal that you can apply from quite a distance, as long as you maintain line of sight with whoever you're trying to heal, but that debuff, and he's basically a sniper without a scope.
He's brutal.
Yeah, he's
Getting
a
taken
glass
out by
cannon.
him. As a Pharaoh, he's normally the one. If someone's paying attention, he's normally the one that will take me out.
Yeah,
Embarrassing. But I should be more maneuverable. Pharaoh's the only hero I actually watched a video on how to be more maneuverable. The rest I prefer to learn as I play.
The meta changes fairly regularly now, so that you have to relearn the characters every now and then. I mean, I took a break from playing the game just because my addiction was becoming crippling and I needed to play other things. And then when I came back, they'd completely changed a lot of the heroes. Mercy had changed completely, Symmetra had changed completely, and I was like, okay, I kind of have to relearn these characters now.
I was very frustrated with I was in a Mercy phase at the time, and then they mentioned the changes, and I do like to get some of the achievements. I'm not what people would call an achievement whore. I don't do it for gamer points or anything. It's more a satisfaction of, I managed that. And she had this achievement for resurrecting 4 people at once. And on the day before she got nerfed, I got it, and I had the highlight clip, and it's like, yes, like
Nice.
I was very, very pleased with that, and I'm very, very bitter at what they've done to her. For me, it's a team game, and if you think a team game is sitting at the back, not dying and racking up a gold medal for damage, even though you didn't get the payload to the first objective, it's like, no.
That's why you need a Winston.
Exactly. Yeah, I said
Get in the back, mess them up, get out.
And that's what I love now. I love being I used to, a flex support. I think I'm now more a counter player. I look at what the other team's doing well with and then counter. And that's how I've learned how to play Reaper and Bastion and Junkrat. Bastion to me is a horrible character to play, but sometimes if the other team are just hiding behind shields, I'll take them down. That's fine.
Yeah, you need to burst that shield down, and there's nothing better than a Bastion in turret mode to shred a Reinhardt shield.
Yeah, and I remember on console Bastion being particularly effective, especially if you had a Mercy in the background. But I find it more fun now playing as Reaper and going behind. Yeah. And absolutely devastating. You look at your stats, and I can't help it checking. How am I doing? Have I got gold in anything? Again, it's not a self-validation. I don't feel like I'm a better player. It's just that's how I judge whether I'm being effective in the team. But then there's Reaper. You do nothing, and then you get behind, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 you've taken down the Mercy. The tank's now running away, and you're gold damaged. It's like, that messed them up a bit.
The character I'm having the most fun at the moment, and the one who I think is... the community's already worked it out, but I haven't worked out a decent counter for it, is Brigitte.
Overpowered for me.
She's massively overpowered. I don't think they've said anything about nerfing her yet, but she is a tank who can also heal, but can also take out one of your the enemy's tanks on her own. Yeah,
it's too much. And she's just joined the Overwatch League, and
she's instantly in all the teams, I noticed. Yeah, because she's just so overpowered.
She is one of those characters that she is the only counter. I mean, people will talk, if you get a couple of heroes ganging up on her, but it's like, it's 6v6. You can't go 2v1 and... Anyway, I pick her mostly because the other... Like I said with Mei, if someone's being a good Mei, I'll try and out-Mei them. It's similar to Brigitte.
I think she's quite hard to be bad with. And that's something, again, that I think is great about this game for a lapsed gamer. It's like, if you are incredibly skilled at shooting, you're incredibly skilled at first-person shooters, then there are characters that will cater for that. You've got your Widowmakers, you've got Soldier 76 to a certain extent, you've got Hanzo, McCree,
Junkrat.
Genji... Junkrat.
Just keep throwing those grenades out. It's great fun, and his Riptire is fantastic if you get that off. Frustrating on the other team, but... Yeah.
But then you've got these characters who are, if you're not particularly good at first-person shooters, then you can still be competitive with them. You've got like Winston's gun, you don't aim it. It's just a Tesla cannon. So if anyone's in front of you and close enough, they're going to get hit by it.
Winston has his shield that'll help protect
Yep.
him, and he's got this jump to get out of danger. He's a great
Yeah.
fun. You're absolutely right for someone who's not played for a while. Maybe if the last game you played was Unreal Tournament, this is a revelation. I played Quake 3 in Unreal Tournament. If you were playing team and you were the weak character, your team would suffer. Not so with this. It's very forgiving. Sometimes that can be a frustration, but I'll never get frustrated because someone's playing badly, because they're because they're not good. I don't look at my statistics to see am I good. It's like I do look to see if I'm good. I don't look to see if I'm better than anyone else.
No.
I like to know that
it's
I'm
not
improving.
a case of that, though, is it? It's
No.
it's not how can I not suck. It's like how can I help?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's you look. It's all it is like you need to just spend a little bit of time understanding vaguely what sort of roles the different characters fall into, because even within the attack, defense, heal, tank, characters will fill different roles from other characters in those same categories. It's like working out roughly what sort of role they fill, looking at the team that you've got at the moment and saying, okay, what are we missing, and then filling that hole. If you need if your team's not running with a tank, then jump in as a tank. If your team is struggling, if you're struggling to keep the team alive with one healer, then jump in as another healer. There's no shame in having two healers. In fact, I wish more teams would do that. I don't really play too much of the ranked mode because unless you've got full team, it can get very frustrating. Quick play's great. It's easy to get into. Depending on what map it is, you know what you're going to be getting, and you can pick the characters yourself. The arcade stuff is where it like mixes up and it's quite fun. And Mystery Heroes is probably the one that I've played the most. Mystery Heroes is on a map with the objective that you'd be usually playing on that map, but every time you respawn as a random character, and it forces you to learn to play with new characters, ones that you would usually avoid. The only downside to that mode is that sometimes I've found that the luck of the draw can be incredibly unbalanced.
Yes.
So one team ends up getting the perfect comp, and the other team has just got a trash selection of characters that can't work together to actually defend. It's that I've actually ended up learning to play a good few characters. I learned to play Sombra. From playing Mystery Heroes, because I tried a couple of times, didn't get on with her, decided, well, she's not for me, I'll just avoid it. I looked at her as like, oh, she's just like Tracer, and I don't know how to trace her, so I won't bother. And she's not. She fills a similar sort of role. She's a flanker, but she's not Tracer. And so playing that mode where it forces you to play as the different characters has been really good for me to learn some of the other ones.
Yeah, it's where I realised that I'm actually okay with Widowmaker, and given what I've previously said, that means I hate myself. According to the statistics, I actually live longer as Widowmaker, which makes sense because you're out of the way, and I do all right with the damage, but I can't do it now. I'll do it out of sulk. I'll pick Widowmaker if someone is instant picking. I'm sad enough that I've got a SSD, so Overwatch loads quite quickly, so I can be the first person in the team selection. I don't know if this comes about on a console, but it means that I can get the Widowmaker before that annoying gargoyle character who just finds a high point, stays up and camps. Yeah. But the Mystery Heroes, I learned the power of tanks. That actually most games of Mystery Heroes seem to be won if you get turrets like Bastion or Torb, or if you get Orisa, or you get the Reinhardt, Winston, Orisa. That combo against random players just won't be beaten, and it's very frustrating when you're on the other team, but very satisfying when you're on the winner. But no, it's a great way to learn the characters.
Yeah,
and suddenly learn one that you wouldn't ordinarily choose.
That's the thing I learned most about tanks, especially through playing that mode, is that unlike what you would class as a tank in in a usual sort of game that would have a tank class, they're not just there to just soak up damage. They're there to basically bully characters, especially Winston and Diva, because they can get in so quickly. And like, if you've got like, I've lost track of the number of times I've seen this, and it never gets old. When you're playing against a team who have got like, they're set up, they've not only have they got like a really well put together composition, but they're rigid in their positioning, and they know exactly what to do. And you just throwing up against the brick wall. Switch to Winston, jump in on their back line and start unleashing with that Tesla cannon, and their formation will just fall apart. People just start panicking, especially if you manage to jump in and then drop Winston's ult and start raging and knocking people all over the place. I've seen well-drilled teams tactics completely fall apart in the face of like one or two really aggressive tanks.
And this is where I as a healer, I used to tank, and Reinhardt, I don't know if maybe he's different on PC, he's actually very mobile. You get an aggressive Reinhardt in front of a payload and it's impressive to watch. I'd like to think I've done it a couple of times, but mostly I've been on the receiving end, and particularly that dive, you get that Winston come over and break the team, and I'm the Mercy's getting squished. And that's when I'm like, right, well, if you're not going to protect me, I'm going up in the air, and I switch to Farrier. And I'm sure in you won't see that in Overwatch League. There's I don't know many of the names of the Overwatch League players, but yeah, they're never going to do that. But going to Farah and being able to disrupt it back, and then being able to switch back to the Mercy and go, right, will you look after me now? It's satisfying, but it's rare.
That's the thing, the game is really easy to get into. There are characters there's a character like Soldier 76 who is your atypical first-person shooter character. I mean, his ult is an aimbot, basically. I mean, he is like, if all you've ever played is Call of Duty, this character is there for you. He's the only one who can sprint. And is quite traditional in that sense. There's like really, really easy ways to get into the game, and then when it's got hooked into you, there's just so much that you can learn about how the different characters complement each other, and who are the hard counters to different characters. And if you are getting smashed by another team, and you look at the composition they've got, and you go, right, okay, that is the weak link. Switch to a hard counter, take that weak link out, and then suddenly the whole composition falls apart, and then they're on the back foot and they're having to rethink their strategy to counteract your offensive. And this is great, like push and pull. Occasionally when I played the game, we have either completely stomped the other team, or we've been completely stomped by the other team. That is quite rare though. On the whole, matchmaking is incredibly well balanced, to the point where it sometimes takes a while to find a game because it's trying to find the right matchup for you. Especially if you're playing, if you're in a party with other people, it will make sure that the other team has the same number of people that are communicating with each other, so there's not a disadvantage that way. And so most of the games are incredibly tight, and there's this great push and pull, and it's just, in terms of I mean, on PC there are plenty of games that are slightly more, tactical, serious shooters. You've got your CSGOs, you've got your TF2s. On console, we don't really have a huge amount like this, and so to have one that is as welcoming as Overwatch is, but as deep as it can be, is kind of special.
There's enough depth here that's a lapsed gamer, a newbie, or someone's experienced first person. There's such a range of heroes. Like you said, Soldier is such a there's nothing difficult to understand about him.
No.
He can heal himself. So again, if you're new to it and you don't have a team supporting you, you can heal. You can. You've got that. It's called hit scan, where your projectiles hit immediately. So you've got that Widow hiding in the back of the map. You can take her out, and you've got your Helix rockets. So again, a bit more Quake and Unreal Tournament-y. But yeah, it is the breadth of the game is surprising to me. As much as I sometimes get very frustrated that it is so simple and people can't do the simple things like stay on an objective.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's one of the stats on this Overbuff website that it's appalling. I'm in the top 1% for objective time on nearly all the heroes. It's too much. I focus too much on it, but that's because I find that other people aren't, and the whole point of the game is to win the objective.
If you're looking at getting into this game, that's the main thing you need to remember. That's all. It's like, it's not about your KD ratio. It's not about how many times you can, take out the other team's best player and teabag them. It's playing that objective. That's the thing.
Yeah, no.
And how you can help your team play that objective.
Anyone can make a difference in any role with any character, whatever the comics and the meta say. You can make your own meta, and it can be cracking fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's very rarely, no matter how many times you'll get yelled at by the people on your team, there are very few characters in any situation who are a wrong choice.
Yes. Really. Yeah, exactly. And I've played with attacking Torb and attacking Symmetra on the same team, and we've still won. You do the unusual thing. You play it against the meta, whether deliberately or just accidental. You will still have a good game, and you can still win. Now, it's not going to happen in Overwatch League. Very rarely do they go against the considered norms because they play it so much. But in quick play, as a casual player, it's good fun. You can make up your own winning formation.
And then just what I hear. No chance. You're not getting away.
Double team kill.
Hey. Hello. Hello. Thank you, my friend. Damn it. That's better. Flatter. Pardon me. Watch your backsides.
Next round.
Well, thanks for joining me, Doug. Where can people find you online?
People can find me on Twitter at Saltire UK. I'm also on Battle.net on PC as Rhodes. That's RRHOADS. #21614. I'm not sure how important that is.
Big Randy Rhodes fan, I take it.
Absolutely, yes. I was Saltire UK on Battle.net, but you have the word salt in your username.
Yeah.
Every game. It doesn't matter if you stay quiet or not. Someone is going to make a reference. So it was just easier to change it to Rhodes. I didn't realise you get one free name change. But yeah, I wish I'd shopped around for something a bit more unique across all the platforms. But yes, Randy Rhodes.
Well, at least you got to change your username. Isn't that right, Sony?
Yes.
Well, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, then please do hit that like and subscribe button, and leave us a comment with your thoughts on Overwatch. Let us know who your favourite character is. As always, you can find us on Twitter at LapsedGamer. You can also listen to the Lapsed Gamer Radio podcast on iTunes, Podbean, and now Spotify as well. You can email us. The address is lapsedgamerradio@gmail.com, and you can visit our blog at lapsedgamer.com. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode of LGR Play. Goodbye.
Goodbye.